Learning to handstand is not about learning to balance, it's about learning to rebalance. So that's what we're going to get into in today's video. So in the past we learned how to warm up our wrist, the theory behind balancing a handstand, the proper alignment and the drills that you can use, and then how to develop strength and endurance using the chest to wall handstand. All of this I would count in the beginner category. Now we're going to start to get into more intermediate level hand balancing of actually starting to rebalance. So before I would do this, I would work up to a 60-second chest to wall handstand. If you missed any of these 4 videos, you can find the link in the description of this video. So like I said, holding a handstand is not about finding balance, it's about learning how to rebalance. Now the good thing about a 2-arm handstand is typically you'll only fall 2 ways, one of 2 ways. One way would be head over heels where you fall on your back or you roll out, and then the second way is back towards your feet. So in order to hold a handstand, we need to figure out how can we balance. If our feet go too far over or not enough, how can we correct it so that we can keep that balanced position with the base of support, the center of mass over the base of support. When rebalancing, we want to have as little corrections as possible, because if I have a big correction, then it's going to take a big amount of strength, a big amount of endurance to correct that position. If I have little tiny corrections as I'm going, it's going to help my endurance, help my strength, and then as you get on to strength moves and one-arm handstands and more advanced balancing, it'll help to have those little corrections in mind. That being said, there are many ways to correct the handstand, especially a 2-arm handstand. The first, and the one that you want to try first, is through the hand. So only through the hand, pressing the hand into the ground. So if you go like you're going to fall over, you push more into the fingertips. And if you go like you're going to come back towards your feet, you push more into the palm, but never lifting the whole palm off of the ground. So if the wrist fails, then we go into the elbow. So we can bend and straighten the elbow and have even a little micro bend in the elbow to help catch balance. We don't want to do this as our first result. We want to have our wrist first. If the wrist fails, then we can go to the elbow. So if the wrist fails and the elbow fails, then we can go to the shoulder. We can open and close the shoulder in order to change the position of the handstand to bring us back into that center of mass over the base of support. We only want to do this if the wrist and the elbow fail, then we can go to the shoulder. The reason is the shoulder correction has a much bigger effect on the whole body, and it'll end up making it harder to rebalance as opposed to only balancing at the wrist. The next balance point would be at the hips, so you can actually pike or extend the hips to get back into balance. I would not recommend this. It is a last resort because holding the hip movement is a huge movement. So if you move the hip, everything's going to move. You can definitely balance the handstand like this, but it's much harder than if you just kept it at wrist level. So after the hip, then we can get into the knee in balance. So you can bend and extend the knee. Again, I would not recommend this. I would recommend keeping the legs straight. But this is an option. If everything fails down along the chain, then the knee can come into handy and you can bend and straighten the knee. And then a little bit harder to balance is using the ankle. So you can point and flex the ankle to go in and out of balance. This is going to have a little effect just because the position is not very big, and when you flex and point, there's not a big difference as opposed to if you flex or extend the hip. But you can actually catch it a little bit if you flex or point the toe. Typically, we want to keep the toe straight and no movement there. That way we keep everything, no movement besides the wrist itself. Now, most people know this information, but they don't know how to train it. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to be going over 2 different exercises, the double toe pulls and the double heel pulls. Now, the latter of the 2, the double heel pulls, is what I give to people just starting out because the fear aspect is not really there. The double toe pulls are an excellent resource, but I usually save that when they are confident upside down and they're confident bailing out of the handstand. Then I'll go into the double toe pulls. So first, let's talk about the one that I would give you first, which is the double heel pulls. For the double heel pulls, you're going to start with your hands shoulder width apart and your shoulder and your wrist already in one line, and you're going to kick up to a wall behind you so that your back is a little bit arched. You have a little bit of an arch. The closer to the wall you are, the easier it'll be. From here, both heels are going to be on the wall. You are not going to use the feet to push off. You are going to use the hand to push into the ground and a little bit of the shoulder closing and opening in order to take the foot off. The goal is not to balance in this step. The goal is to learn how to rebalance if you're going to fall towards your feet. So what you want to do is come off the wall just for a second and then come back towards the wall. So here we're doing reps. I would start with 5 reps and then go up to 10, sometimes 15 reps for 3 up to 5 sets. And this is a good place to start. Try to only use the wrist and maybe a little bit of the shoulder. Don't let the hip move at all. For the double toe pulls, we're going to start in a chest to wall handstand. The same thing, hands shoulder width apart. And it's going to be the same idea, but now we're training the opposite way. So if you're going to fall over, like you're going to fall on your back, how to rebalance this position. So you're going to push into the hands and a little bit of shoulder movement forward, and this will take the feet off. You're going to go into a straight handstand, not trying to balance, but trying to come back towards the wall and with the goal of not falling over. So I would again do this for reps of 5, starting with 5 reps for 3 to 5 sets, and then going to 10 or 15 reps. You are not trying to hold the handstand. You are trying to learn how to rebalance. So just like I said, you would start with 3 up to 5 sets for 5 reps and then work your way up to 10 or 15 reps. And I would start with the double heel pulls first. The reason is there has less fear. You don't have to worry about falling head over heels. And then once you get a good level of here, you should be pretty confident in the handstand, and then you can go to the double toe pulls. But if you are confident bailing out of the handstand, you can do both at the same time. We are trying to train how to rebalance if you fall over and how to rebalance if you don't kick up enough. Like I said, this is a more intermediate step in learning how to balance the handstand. So if I was going to make a program for you, it would look something like this. Again, the wrist routine from my wrist routine video for 2 sets. Then I would go into 1 alignment drill. I'd either pick the supine or the prone, and I would just do 1 set of 60 seconds. Then I would go into chest to wall handstand, just 1 set of 60 seconds. I'm really trying to ingrain that position, that alignment. Then after the chest to wall, then I would do either 1 or both of these. So maybe I would start with the double heel pulls for 3 sets of 5 to 10 reps. And then if you're confident enough, you can go into the double toe pulls for 3 sets of 5 to 10 reps and getting higher and higher and more consistent. Again, you're not trying to balance at this step. The balancing will come in the next video, but for now we're learning to rebalance. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments down below and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Next week's video will be part 5 and it will be on balancing the handstand. So if you're not subscribed already, subscribe so you can see that video as soon as it comes out. Thank you for watching, and that's the session. Go for another one. Oh, that was so close.